Previously on Exploration Overland.
Rudy and his friend Ellen is up behind him. Rudy and Ellen are not behind us. No idea where Rudy and Ellen are. I have zero idea. Detour time. Part of our route is they have closed, the Forest Service has closed the roads to unsafe conditions.
Welcome back, everybody. After 3 long days, 2 of which have been on the route itself and putting down over 300 miles, you find us at camp along the Deadwood Reservoir. This morning has been slow going with a crisp chill in the air and the sun slowly rising, and we were in no rush. With coffee on the go and biscuits and gravy for breakfast with a little Jimmy Buffett playing in the background, we were feeling pretty good this morning. Now, packing up for camp doesn't take long for my dad and I. The system we have is quite proficient, and within 20 minutes camp is torn down and the Jeep packed up ready to go. And just like that, we are off. Another big day lies ahead of us, but first my dad needed to act like a child and take the long way out of camp.
Good morning, guys. We are on the move. We have packed up camp and obviously we are on the move. It has been a really nice morning. It was cooled off overnight, which was really nice. It was a little chilly this morning. We had our jackets on. We had some good breakfast, cleaned up. We just took our time. It's now, I don't know, like 9:10. We're getting back onto the trail. We're gonna keep going. Today, not quite sure how far we're gonna get. I know we will hit the town of Yellow Pine. That is the goal at the moment, and then from there we will see what time of day it is and how far we're gonna go. But for now, guys, we're gonna kick back and enjoy the trail and enjoy this cool air, because it's supposed to be another hot day out here in the forest of Idaho.
The weather on this trip has been absolutely beautiful in the mornings, and as we drive along today, we get glimpses of a creek that has been running alongside the road but hidden by the vegetation. Now, if you watched our previous episode on this trip, you'll know that the drone broke and was completely out of commission. So I got a little creative with the GoPro.
Holding on. I said I'm holding on.
I tell you what, that was a lot of fun. Now, don't worry, we were not going very fast at all, but I don't think I have ever had more fun hanging off the back of a 4x4.
Okay, we just passed through the little town of Pine, or Yellow Pine, sorry. Tiny little town. At least we had some phone service briefly. I was able to get in touch with Rudy. He's about a day behind us. He was at Trinity Lake last night, so I don't know if we'll ever see him again on the route unless we find some place that, you know, we felt like waiting and had the ability to keep things charged, but we'll see. But the town was a tiny little mountain hole in the wall town where gas was $9 a gallon. I'm glad we were not empty and we just had to top it off, because it was over $50 for 6 gallons. So yeah, that was little mountain towns, man. boy, it is beautiful out here.
Now, as you leave the town of Yellow Pine, the trail runs beside this awesome flowing stream. And up ahead, the trail itself starts to get very, very narrow.
I realize some of you are probably thinking that's really, really dangerous, and you'd be correct. But I gotta get creative with getting film footage when the drone no longer works, so I'm getting creative with film footage. Gotta try something different every once in a while. At the same time, still being able to, you know, put down some miles and whatnot, because on these roads, so far they've been really, really busy, and it's been really hard to actually stop and get out to film the Jeep go by, because there's been tons of fifth wheels pounding up and down these roads, so getting creative.
Remember how I said the trail narrows? Well, further up ahead, it became like this. Now, when this happens, blind corners are a very real scenario here, and going too fast could result in serious injury and damage to your vehicle and yourself. About an hour later, we started to climb, heading to the top of Elk Summit Pass. Now, the pass is only about 6,400 feet, or 1,951 meters above sea level, whereas Elk Peak is 10,582 feet, or 3,225 meters above sea level. And boy, it was gorgeous on either side.
We have stopped for a moment. There's the Jeep. We've been on this trail, and if hopefully you guys can see it, maybe not. The trail is way back there. It keeps going down. That's where we are still traveling, is down. We've been coming, let me get my hand right there. We were all the way up there, back up that way. We've been coming down this trail. It's been a couple hours, honestly. It was really nice up top. We were at it's Elk Creek Summit, which was gorgeous, but there were like 8 side-by-sides sitting up there, so we didn't stop. And as we've been coming down, the temperature went from being around 70 degrees to we are now at 90 degrees. In the span of like 30 minutes is what it did. 30 minutes is all it took for us to get 20 degrees hotter. So it's warm. We just need a little break. I was getting a little sick, car sick. I'm not great at being a passenger queen, especially when it's hot. And parts of this trail, though all the roads or trails that we've been on, all these forest trails, have been so well maintained, they're beautiful. But every once in a while you get to some ruts, and we were going through the ruts, and combination of heat, passenger seat, and ruts. I was like, okay, I need to stop. But Idaho's beautiful. It's been great. And I know I haven't been talking to you guys a lot. Honestly, guys, there are points of interest that I'm trying to get us to, and we've made it to some, and we're still making our way to others. It's just there's lots of miles in between, and one forest road looks very similar to some of the others, so I don't always show everything. And there's not points of actual interest along the way. And that's just the thing. This route is, 1,250 miles, and we've done probably about 340 miles. Put that into perspective. So we still got days to go. But it's a nice little stop. It's really hot, but it's nice. Idaho is beautiful. If you haven't come out to Idaho before, come out here and check it out, guys. The trails haven't been overly difficult. It's been a lot of, Forest Service roads, but they are so well maintained, it allows you to just take in the beauty of it all.
At the bottom of the summit, you cross over the South Fork Salmon River. Now, along this river, there are many different campgrounds and dispersed camping sites that would probably be extremely full over the weekend. But you want to, you can be put right next to that river. After following the river for a while, you'll start to climb out of the valley. This climb is steep and narrow, with traffic going both directions. And it is long. I mean long. We climbed well over an hour out of this valley before entering the Warren mining town. The Warren mining town is a near ghost town because people still live there. Settled in 1862, this was a gold town. Yep, like many of the other towns here in Idaho, gold was the hot commodity. For 80 years, Warren was in operation, pulling out gold from the ground until 1942, when World War II started, all gold mining operations in the U.S. were put to a halt. Today, this town is a tourist stop with one local cafe and a lot of history. Just a little ways outside of the town of Warren, we found our camp for the night. Camping in Idaho has been like no other place I've been to where you can camp in a forest right next to water. And this spot just helps to make my point.
Good morning, everyone. It is cold. Yesterday being at about 100 degrees, and then this morning it's only about 50. That's a 50-degree difference. It's quite chilly last night, honestly. My head was very cold throughout the night. But it is a beautiful morning out here. Last time I left you guys, we were descending into the mountains, things like that, and then we did this massive climb up out of this area between two mountains, and we went through what was an old mining town that people still live in, and then we found camp. We were in the Jeep for about 9 hours yesterday just driving, and we found camp, and at that point, guys, I was so tired and just exhausted, I couldn't break out the camera. Honestly, I just was like, no. But it is a new day. What do we have going on today? Today is going to be more of a rest and recovery day. The past 2 days or so, we have been in the Jeep for over 8 hours each day, which is great because we're putting in some miles, but yesterday we went over 140 miles of just driving, which in the grand scheme of things, once again, we're probably roughly around that 500 mile mark out of the whole thing. So we're closer to that, a quarter of it done. But we have a few little gremlins that we need to take care of. As you guys will remember, I told you the Jeep started to have an oil leak. We found where it's leaking from. One of the seals up underneath one of the pulleys has blown itself a little bit. So that is where oil is coming out. So today we are gonna head up the trail again. Obviously, we're still gonna go the same way, but we are going to come off the trail and shoot into the little town of McCall so we can get fuel, resupply on water, and get some oil. We want to ensure it's not a big, fast dripping leak, and we still have plenty. The Jeep is still full of oil. It is just in case. We want to make sure that we have no issues while we are on the trail or run into those. So we're going to get that, and we're going to pick up just a few other things just to keep on the safe side. But that is the big gremlin that we're dealing with at the moment. The other thing is we've been having issues with our charging of our power station. It's not the power station, it's not the Jeep, it's just it's been so hot out here. The power station has been getting so warm that though it's running the fridge and we're charging it as we're driving, it's just not charging as quickly as we'd hope. So our workaround at the moment is we unplug the fridge, we plug it into the Jeep, so it's just getting power from the Jeep, and then the power station can just charge without having to use any effort to keep something else charged while it's charging. Yesterday we did that, it worked, we got it back to 100%, which was great. But it was kind of one of those snags of the day before going, how are we going to do this? And try and keep it going. So we have little things here and there. Nothing huge though. Precautions. Now camp. This is a little spot. The main road actually, let's see, do I have you guys loose enough I can turn you? I do. The main road is on the other side of these trees, which I can actually see it but it was really quiet all night. Down here, right down here, through this little path, is a creek. It's a running creek. The water is really chilly. Yes, I know, because we cleaned ourselves up yesterday, and we were super hot and dirty and dusty, and it was nice to just get clean. So that stream is flowing, and it's actually deep enough to sit in, so it was really, really nice. And then back over here, as you can see, this is camp. And then back over this way, guys, was the trail we came in on, and it does go back that way, which leads you up between two mountains, and it also goes back this way, which is the way we have to do to get back to the main trail. But it's been fun. I will give Idaho this. Y'all keep your Forest Service roads really well maintained. I mean, like, they make all the other Forest Service roads I've ever been on seem really bent out of shape. These roads have been so smooth, guys. They're not super corrugated, and they're just so maintained. Now, granted, we really haven't been in four-wheel drive at all. We've been in four-low a few times when we're doing some really steep climbs. Otherwise, two-wheel drive. It's one of those where you don't need a Jeep so far or any kind of huge off-road rig to do this BDR. It's just that easy. And it's long, but it's really easy. And it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And boom, just like that, guys. Camp is picked up. It's like we were never here, which is awesome. That's how all campsites should be when you leave them. Because this campsite had some trash that we had to pick up because it was bad. But we are all set to go. So here shortly, we're going to get back on the trail. We're going to follow the trail. We probably have, I don't know, an hour to where the turnoff is, give or take. I have no idea how far it is up, because we got to go to Bergenhof, I think is how it's called, something like that. It's a hot spring right there, and that is where a road connects to take us down to McCall. Very good. But without further ado, guys, let's get out on the road.
So far on this trip, I have been loving the spots that we have been finding for camp. They each have awesome features that make them special in their own way. But with that said, it has not been hard leaving each morning, because I know that the next time we set up will be someplace just as good. And in a shorter time frame than I thought, we had hit the blacktop, aired up the tires, and headed for the small town of McCall.
This is the main road that is going to take us down to the city of McCall. I literally thought this would take like a half an hour to get there. It took no time at all whatsoever. So we aired up, and now we're on this blacktop. I'd like to say it's only going to take maybe an hour to get there. It could take us less than that to get down there. I have no idea. But we are now heading our way into town so we can get the oil and all those other things that I mentioned earlier. So we're going to cruise along this road. We're supposed to pass a few lakes as we're going, and this just kind of begins the chill day, guys. Still going to be some driving, still a little bit of adventuring, but a little bit more relaxing, giving the Jeep a bit of a break. She's put a lot of miles on her all off-road, so.
Alrighty, this is where I thought I'd been filming, but turns out I didn't hit the button to record all the way. Yeah, I had one of those moments, but after 3 hours in McCall, accomplishing everything we needed to, we ended up back where the blacktop ends and the dirt begins.
All right, as you guys can probably hear behind me, the Jeep is airing down. We have finally are back where we aired up. We were in town for almost 3 hours. I got everything I needed taken care of. We got what we needed at the stores. It was a chaotic mess because it is just a tourist trap, and it wasn't fun. But we are back out here, and we are ready to hit the dirt. Not going to be on the dirt, you know. We're going to be on the dirt a long time, but we're not going to be driving a whole hell of a lot longer. We're going to go up, we're going to check out a few things, then start looking for camp, and maybe see if Rudy catches up. He's had all damn day to catch up at this point, so we'll see.
So at this point, I should mention that I did get a message out to Rudy, telling him what our plans were for the day, and that he would be able to catch up with us. Little did we know, though, that Rudy had run into some issues with his Jeep, and that That exact day that we were allowing him to catch up, he had spent most of that day getting his Jeep fixed. I found all this out though, of course, after the adventure. Let's go work on the tent here. See, what side did my dad give me this time? Oh, he gave me my side. That's nice of him. My dad likes to constantly switch the side and claim it's his side. So we never know.
Love how you think it makes a difference.
It's just fun to give him crap. Okay, we need the air pump. Here's the air pump. We need the air pump because we both sleep on Lost Horizon sleeping pads because they're very comfortable and they make sleeping so much better. You don't have to fight with having a bad night's sleep. So let's go ahead and air these up. It's real simple. This, double click, and away she goes. Just like that, guys. Sleeping pad is inflated and good to go. Nice thing about this pump, it also deflates them. So we can do a lot of it manually, but this will help suck the rest of the air out, which makes it a heck of a lot easier when it comes time to rolling it up and putting it away. So we made it to camp, but of course, I'm not talking to you. No. So we made it to camp, and of course, people are pigs.
Yeah.
Idiots. Aluminum cans don't burn, geniuses. This whole fire pit is full of empty beer cans that somebody thought would be a bright idea to just try and burn them because they're incompetent, uneducated, and their IQ starts with a negative symbol and a decimal point.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, there was tons. And there was glass in there too. And just like that, guys, camp is pretty much set up. It's real simple. It doesn't take us very long. Go ahead. Because we took our time doing a few other things, it took us about 5 extra minutes. Normally it takes us 15 minutes to set up camp. It took us 20. We're in no big hurry ever, so it's all right. That's camp for now. We're gonna finish setting up some chairs, probably walk around a little bit, check some stuff out, and then just get a feel for it. We like to get a feel for our surroundings, and then we'll just go from there. So I'll check in with you guys here in a little bit. But it's been a great day of relaxation, minus driving out of that little town of McCall. Oh my goodness, too much traffic. But it's peaceful. And this campsite is so far off the road, we're not going to hear anything unless Rudy comes in. We left signs for him starting from the Bergdorf just before the hot springs there, all the way up leading to here. We left him about 4 or 5 signs telling him to keep going and then to turn and follow it all the way up. So if he does make it out here, hopefully he sees the signs. My trick of trying to reach out through him through Zolio and stuff seems to have worked, and he got the message, and I told him I'd leave him a sign, so I left you a sign in case you didn't make it here. So we were out walking around, checking out, the surroundings. Like I told you guys, we like to check it out. When my dad hears something, and I didn't hear it, I was too busy shoving food in my face, so all I heard was me chewing. We have this big, huge grass open area here. Right over there is water. I didn't think, because I found this campsite while we were in town, because this area I had no campsites marked. I found it in town when we decided we weren't going to have, a big, huge driving day. Had no idea there was water here. Absolutely no idea. Didn't even know this camp spot was here. I just kind of marked the spot that I kind of saw an open area and said maybe it'll be a camp. It was. 4 nights next to water, guys. I am so excited. I love this. Absolutely love this. Check this out.
And these waters are crystal clear. If it wasn't for the reflection, because the camera, you can see it a little bit. I'm sorry guys, the camera doesn't do it justice, but you can see it a bit, but there's such a reflection of the sky above. That's what you guys are seeing. But there are fish in here I'm seeing. We may break out the fishing poles and throw them in like we did at the lakes. That's a big, huge pool right here. That's all really deep. I don't think we can get into it. I don't see an actual spot that would be nice enough to get into it. But guys, wow. So far, every campsite, minus the first one when we got in to Idaho, the day we arrived, they have all been next to water. 2 lakes, 2 streams. It has been awesome. Absolutely awesome. And this place, guys, this campsite. So, we're behind the trees here. Whole big field. Where the tent is, a whole big field. We've got this whole area just to ourselves. There's no one else around. There's no one else on this trail because we drove the entire trail. It's not very long. Like, much further up it ends. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. Oh, I love it out here. Absolutely, I'm loving Idaho. It is great. Alright, we are got the fire going because it is now dinner time. And what we're having today is chicken and sausage over pasta. You'll remember it, we did it in the Ozarks. And that's because the one dish went a little funky, so it was actually sausage and beef. This time it's actually chicken. Why? Because the chicken's actually cooked. Because there is no more raw chicken on my adventures. So that is what we were having for dinner. It's all been made already. It's in a seal a meal bag that we have to boil. Most of our meals have been made prior to coming out here, and we put it in seal a meal bags because it's just easier at camp. It's less cleanup and it is just less of a mess. So that's what we're having for dinner tonight. Right now, might be able to see it on the camera, might not. Fire's going. We brought a bunch of extra firewood with us, and that's what we're using to start the fire because we know it'll at least light and get going. And that is what we're doing at the moment, guys. So here in about a second, you'll see dinner going onto the fire. Well, that food was delicious. It hit the spot, and it has been a great way of ending the evening. It is about 7:30, guys, and the sun is still high up in the sky. It doesn't go down till almost 10 o'clock here in Idaho. I got bugs flying all around me. But it has been an awesome time. But this is where, for this episode, the adventure ends. Don't worry, there's still more to come about Idaho, but for now, this is where this episode ends. So if you haven't, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, guys. It helps me out immensely. Also, a link in the description to my link tree. Within my link tree, you will find all sorts of links to all the products that I use here. It's just in a nice, organized place for you all to be able to find things a lot easier than having a bunch of different links in the description. But thank you all for joining me, and I'll catch you all next time. Still here in Idaho, but on the trail. We're getting really close to the ghost town. Going over is the Manning Bridge.